I recycle. I bring my bags to the grocery store. I ride my bike to the office. While it feels good to be able to point to these things and say that I'm doing my part, I've always known that this barely chips away at the weight of my existence on the planet. As an American, my footprint on natural resources is among the largest in the world, and I've seen the effects firsthand. Like most, I want to do more, and it's tempting to focus entirely on reducing my impact. Sell the car, plant some kale, reuse the bathwater. While actions like those are a step in the right direction, they're clearly not enough anymore. Something new is happening. For decades, we've known that human activity is forcing the climate to change. Now, we're starting to realize that we're no longer just pushing the climate along, but that it's beginning to run away from us. All indications are that the changes we've already seen are only the leading edge of exponential processes. Melting permafrost is releasing methane, intensifying the greenhouse effect. As sea ice disappears, oceans are absorbing more energy from the sun, accelerating heating even more. For me, the light came on, both literally and metaphorically, courtesy of an Electrolux model EID55 IK-G0 clothes dryer. Specifically, the light inside the Electrolux model EIED whatever. It's a thoughtful gesture and all, but really, who needs a light inside their dryer? It doesn't even just click on and off either. It slowly fades in and out because, actually I don't know why, but I'll admit that it's kind of pleasing. If you can experience that magical little moment of domestic effulgence in your clothes dryer without feeling like you've reached the point in life where you have enough, it's quite possible that you never will. So there it is. I have enough. It's time to focus on giving back. But how? What can I, as one individual, do to not just reduce my impact to net zero, but to actually leave the world a little better than I found it? Countless institutions are working tirelessly to protect our endangered ecosystems. Often, the locations that need their protection the most are remote and rarely visited. As a result, the people working so hard on behalf of our wild places often don't have even a single decent photograph to use, making it extremely difficult to garner the public awareness critical to success. Fortunately, I have a little experience getting images in hard-to-reach places. Last year, I started shooting threatened public lands and donating the photographs to conservation organizations. While the results have proved valuable, I've come to realize that these still images represent only a tiny glimpse of my experiences in these places, and more often than not, the real stories lie outside of the frame. To assure the future of these places, we need to do something new as well. As photographers and journalists, we need to move beyond casually slinging around carefully composed portraits of exotic destinations. We need to provide context. Show that the extraordinary places aren't always on the other side of the world and accessible only to a special few. That these places are at the borders of our towns and the edges of our neighborhoods. We need to map the route between the surreal images we produce and the lives we all lead. For most of the world, we live among fragile, extraordinary beauty that we just rarely find ourselves in the right time and place to see. I don't know how to do it yet, but I'm committed to tell the bigger story. Of the places I visit, the creatures that inhabit them, and the people I share the journey with. I do know that I'll need to use every tool at my disposal, which means fumbling my way through equipment and techniques that I've so far had only passing experience with. Video, audio, time-lapse, low-light, and aerial photography. I have a lot to learn, and that's part of my hope for putting this out there, that you'll be able to help me through all the tough questions I've never considered, from the best time of day to find specific wildlife, to what those tiny loops on my mittens are for. So what can you do? If you know of or work for an organization that needs images of threatened wild places, put us in touch. If you want to make a financial contribution, these organizations are full of dedicated, hardworking people who are driving real change. I can't say enough good things about them. They've hiked into far-flung places to show me issues firsthand and have worked far outside of reasonable hours to provide information, maps, guidance, and resources to help me do what I do. Their incredibly detailed knowledge of these dizzyingly complex issues, down to an acre-by-acre level, and their tireless work helping everyone involved get what they want, has changed the way I think about conservation work. Since I'm a believer in citing sources, if you want to learn more about the issues I touched on, like methane and permafrost and the ice albedo feedback, here's where you can find out more. And finally, here's how you can keep track of this crazy adventure. I'll be putting up another video every 2 weeks, so check back again soon, or subscribe if that's something you do. And seriously, write me if you know what those loops are for. It's killing me.